Assalamualaikum to Dr. Mahiran binti Makhtar. We are from Group 4 and today we're going to present on the topic of an analysis of the intersection of constitutional rights and child labour practices in Malaysia. In the introduction part, in exploring the intersection of constitutional rights and child labour practices in Malaysia, Malaysia has ratified both ILO conventions on child labour. The Constitution of Malaysia safeguards fundamental liberties, including the right to freedom and the prohibition of forced labour. Additionally, there are specific laws such as the Children and Young Persons Employment Act 1966, which apply to Peninsular Malaysia and provide the legislative framework for child employment. And examining the intersection of constitutional rights and child labour practices in Malaysia, it is critical to analyse the extent to which the nation's legal commitments align with on-the-ground realities.
Child labour can take many different forms such as street labour, farm labour and household labour. In Malaysia, child labour is not limited to a small number of children labouring in fields and moving heavy loads of palm crops. Children can also be found sitting on the ground with a metal bucket and pleading with passerby for spare changes or selling tissue to customers for a few ringgits. Based on the result of the survey, the majority of the respondents, which is 87.5%, have agreed that yes, they have encountered children on the streets begging for money. These children are usually in poor condition with their clothing all worn out and dirty. Poverty has an obvious relationship with child labour. Although it is not always the case, poverty is a major contributing factor to child labour. The majority of parents influence their child's working factor by manipulating their conflicting emotion, which means most of these children are involved in the labour working are being forced. The 75% of respondents agreed, while the rest are having conflict between yes or no. The influence of Malaysian culture and belief, which state that children should obey their parents and that they should always do what is best for them, may be the cause of this. The majority of cases involve low-income families and children who are doing poorly in school. Most people agree that education is a fundamental human right and the only path to a brighter future. It is essential, even though there is no assurance that it will result in greater life opportunities. Early labour participation is thought to have some sort of negative impact on the children's formal schooling due to this disruption it causes. Children who work long hours at jobs that conflict with school activities and causes them to lose concentration on their studies often find it difficult to participate in the educational system. The Education Act 1996 stated that it is mandatory for children to complete their primary school education.
To begin with, Article 5, Clause 1 of the Federal Constitution is crucial for safeguarding children from exploitative labour practices. It ensures that no person, including children, is deprived of life or personal liberty. This provision protects children from being forced into harmful work environments and denied educational opportunities. Malaysian judiciary also indicates that the right to life under Article 21 protects children from forced labour and exploitation. Next, Article 6, Clause 2 of the Federal Constitution prohibits all forms of forced labour, including child labour. This provision is essential in preventing the exploitation of children into them. Malaysia's Penal Code strengthened its Section 374, criminalising the act of compelling someone to work against their will to ensure that illegal children through forced labour is defined with policy purposes. International acts plan to force labour, hence these measures are raising awareness and enforcement to prevent child labour. Furthermore, Article 12 of the Federal Constitution
Malaysia did ratify the
children's
SRC,
education,
and
which
these
is crucial in
suggested
combating child labour.
suggested law
Article
in which
12
it
Clause 1A
created the Child Act
ensures all
2001
children
in
have
Malaysia,
full
which
access
focuses
to
on protecting
education,
children from
while
abuse
Article
and
12
with less
Clause 1A
specific provision on
guarantees
child labor.
non-discrimination in
So, with
financial
the influence of the
education.
United
This
Nations
interpretation is
Convention of
crucial
Rights of the Child,
because it recognizes
in
that
which it
even
is a
though
persuasive power in
children
shaping
should not
Malaysian
be
law with
deprived
regards
of
to the rights
educational
and
opportunities.
protection of children,
Education
and also
empowers
influences the
children
enactment
who
of the
seek
Child Act 2001, and it also further
Thus,
emphasizes the
ensuring
transition from
all children
exploitation
can
and abuse to
access education
child
without
labor. So
academic
to summarize,
barriers is a
the
key
United
to
Nations
reduce child labour.
Convention on the Rights of Children
Lastly, the
impacts
Children
Malaysian
and
laws
Young
by
Persons
impacting
Employment
the
Act
creation of Malaysian
1966
laws with regard to
provides a
children, and
legal
also
framework
further
to
shows the
protect
importance
young
of
workers
aligning
in
national laws
Malaysia.
with the
It defines
NCRC
a child as under
to
14
help
years
combat
and a
the
young person
issue
as
that happens not
between
only in
14
Malaysia but
and
worldwide.
18
The
years,
Central Malaysian Law
allowing
doesn't
only
accept
light, non-hazardous
persuasive
work
laws
for
that
this
they
purpose.
ratified it with
The
the good steps in one
2019 amendments to the Act prohibit hazardous employment and ensure proper working conditions, aiming to prevent economic exploitation and ensure that work does not interfere with the children's education and development.
Next, in recent developments, court decision or legislatively, the Fighting Against Forced Labour and Child Labour in Supply Chains Act is set to come into force on January 1st, 2024. This act represents a significant step for Malaysia, as it obligates businesses to submit an annual report detailing the measures they have taken to prevent forced and child labour in their supply chains. In addition, amendments to Malaysia's Employment Act, which was supposed to come into force on September 1st, 2022, have been deferred to January 1st, 2024. These amendments include a reduction in the maximum working hours per week from 48 to 45, excluding mid breaks, in line with the International Labour Organization Convention. On the judicial front, although specific court decisions from 2024 regarding child labour in Malaysia are not readily available, there is a compendium of court decisions that abrogates the worst forms of child labour convention, demonstrating Malaysia's commitment to international labour standards. Moreover, the Office of Child Labour, Forced Labour and Human Trafficking has published procedural guidelines to combat these issues, indicating the government continued efforts to address and eradicate child labour. These developments reflect on ongoing commitment to improve labour practices to protect the rights of children in Malaysia. With the new regulations and guidelines in place, there is a clear path towards mitigating the issues of child and forced labour in the country.
Next, I will present about the implication and also consequence. For implication, we have analyzed both the direct and indirect effect of it. The first point for implication is to enhance the legal protection. Generally known, the Federal Constitution under Article 5, 6 and 12, also Minor and Young Person of Employment Act 1996, show there is solid legal foundation for safeguarding minor for exploitative work practice. The next point for implication is on the judicial interpretation. As we can see that when the federal court has ruled about the matter of the child labour, the other lower court must follow it as well. So clearly we can see such a precedent can improve the enforcement of the children's right by establishing a clear legal norms. So let's move to the consequences where we choose to improve the enforcement can result in more comprehensive child protection system, such as improved reporting procedure, support service, and also labour practice monitoring. This means that it underscores the importance of effective enforcement of child labour laws and how it can be resolved in comprehensive system designed to protect the children. Next, when the responsible party have increased the accountability, such as emphasize the legal penalty, also stricter enforcement for offender, are among ways to discourage child labour, fostering a culture of compliance and respect for children's rights. In the conclusion, there is many ways that Malaysian government can do as to strengthen its efforts to avoid child labour and preserve the right of dignity of all children by ongoing judicial scrutiny, law retirement, and also by community engagement. Hence, this all from us. Thank you, Doctor, for watching patiently. Thank you.